Hello everyone, and welcome to this very unique King George Grade 6 virtual leaving ceremony, which is an important opportunity to recognize our oldest learners and to wish them well as they soon depart to start their journey as intermediate students. Despite us needing to do things a little bit differently this year, nothing, and I do mean nothing, takes away from our desire to celebrate these 22 very special individuals. But before I go any further, I would like to acknowledge that King George Public School is located on the traditional territory of the Mississauga First Nations, and for that, we are very grateful. And so now, let me just take a moment to highlight for you our Grade 6 program, which each of our families and students will receive a copy of tomorrow in their gift bag at the drive-by portion of our recognition of these fine, kind King George students. Inside, we have some important messages, some important thank yous, and the names of all of our students who are leaving King George, as well as a little token picture of our school in East City. Each year, the 10 months of the school year tend to just fly by and come to an end oh so quickly, and this school year is no exception to that, even with the very unique year that we have all experienced. I am very proud to be the principal of King George Public School. For those whom I haven't met, my name is Marguerite Masterson, and I've so enjoyed the opportunity to get to know all of our grade 6 students. Students, I have seen you demonstrate incredible learning both in the classroom and more recently during distance learning. And I've seen you develop and grow friendships. I've cheered you on from the sidelines as you've participated in a wide variety of activities and sports and special events. And I've observed you act as role models as you problem solve. I've seen you step up to make learning from home work as best you can. And I've been witness to many of you when you've had to dig deep to find ways to move forward with your friends after resolving conflicts, upsets, or challenges. And you have all come such a long way. Here at King George, you've also been our school leaders, but you didn't become the leaders just by being in grade 6. You've been growing and nurturing these skills and developing them for many years with the support of all of your wonderful educators. And you will continue to grow further in this area with even more experience and time at your next school and in life beyond. Keep honing your abilities to be who you want to be, and always remember that as kind King George students, it brings as much joy to be kind to others as it does to receive kindness. Let's make kindness be a positive pandemic, and let's spread it everywhere within your personal life, your home, your school, your community, and of course, the world at large. You have all come a long way in the 3 years that I've had the pleasure of knowing you, and you need to be very proud of how you have most recently stepped up to the task of demonstrating resilience, overcoming disappointments, and finding faith in being hopeful about the future. These are huge accomplishments and ones which will continue to shape you forever. You are the class that faced the challenges of 2020 head on. And this is a big part of why you really, really will remember your grade 6 year and our virtual leaving ceremony and our drive-by portion that will happen tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, it's going to be a special day for all of our grade 6 students and families. And while it's going to be different than what many of you would have imagined, your recognition of your time at King George would end up being, it will include the memory of what was necessary as part of living and overcoming the challenges of learning during a global pandemic. Yet you have drawn on your personal skill sets and the support of your family and friends and teachers to come to terms with the current new way of being in order to carry on and to keep yourselves and each other safe and healthy. We know you've been stretched and challenged emotionally during this pandemic in varied ways, and that's normal. But the reward of this is that you are going to emerge with new wisdom and new learning that we never could have ever anticipated for you. And these experiences, quite frankly, will be part of shaping who you are. And you're showing us that you are going to be coming out on the other side of COVID-19, being more appreciative, more grateful, wiser, and probably having improved some of your hand washing and technology skills too. In advance of tomorrow, I would like to take a moment to thank the parents and the caregivers of our grade 6 students. Not only have you supported your child over the years, but also the current and past staff and administration of King George Public School. This relationship between home and school is an important one, and I continue to urge you to connect with Armour Heights next year and to stay involved in your child's education even as they get older and continue to become more independent. Today, as we celebrate the leaving of our grade 6s from our school and the start of a new adventure in their education, I would like to share with you how Ms. Anderson sums up this particular class. I know she is so very fond of her students and especially proud of how resilient that they have been given the circumstances that they have had to encounter this year. Ms. Anderson says, "This year, my students embody the grandfather trait of love. They demonstrate this by being kind to themselves and each other. They respect each other's differences and work together to make learning interesting and fun. This is one of the most creative, hard-working classes I have ever had the pleasure to teach." Thank you for that, Ms. Anderson, and I hope that her words brought a smile to your face. Some time ago, the Kawartha Pine Ridge Board of Education developed a list of character attributes that they felt students should be working on to demonstrate themselves as citizens in our schools and in society at large. In more recent years, the Ministry of Education revamped the report cards so that the learning skills and the work habits would be on the front page and could speak to how students approach learning and how they incorporate many of the character traits that our board values. Success in learning skills and work habits are without a doubt a skill set that our students need to support their success not only at school, but in life beyond. I often call these the employability traits. Here at King George, we have also been learning and recognizing the history and the value of the 7 grandfather teachings and how these also align with helping our students to be the best they can be. So with all of this in mind, we want you to know that tomorrow, each student will receive a very special medallion, carefully chosen for each recipient, and it will look a little bit like this. And this is going to be a very important keepsake for you. And also in your gift bag, you will find your grade 6 certificate, among a few other special surprises that I think you will enjoy. But at this time, we would now like to highlight each one of our departing students by sharing a year-end activity that they all contributed to about each other, about their peers, under the guidance of Ms. Anderson and Ms. Nanskaville. They did this during distance learning, and again, another piece of hard work that we are proud of them for getting involved with. I'm going to share a brief anecdote after I share with you the words that the peers have described of each other. And the brief anecdote that most of our students, not all, but most of them wrote about, is about where they will see themselves in 10 years from now. This is exciting. Let's get started. So Amir is described by her peers as smiley, hardworking, friendly. She's a leader, a learning buddy, responsible, and respectful. In 10 years, Amir says she will be in medical school as she wants to be a doctor and help people and make them feel better. Emily, her peers said that she's determined, artistic, animal-loving, a learning buddy, and wonderful. As for Claire, she is described as calm, sporty, a leader. She's kind, determined, tough. They think of the words track and field and cross country and basketball when they think of her. She's brave, wonderful, a learning buddy, and a dependable team player. In 10 years, Claire hopes to be at Ryerson University on a hockey scholarship, pursuing her dream of becoming a known athlete. Once she finishes school, she will be in the National Women's Hockey League, or the NHL for women if there is one by then, and if not, she might just create one. If she sadly doesn't become a paid athlete, she will either build and design houses, or become a teacher or a coach in the NHL. A few years after she graduates, she hopes to have a large house, not in a big city, but maybe somewhere like Peterborough or another small town, a family of her own, and she hopes to drive a Chevrolet Suburban or Ford Expedition. In 10 years, she hopes she will still be a caring and determined person. And Ben C. He is described as enthusiastic, thoughtful, athletic, determined. He's a long jumper, a runner, he's wonderful, a learning buddy, he's a leader and respectful. In 10 years, Ben will be graduating and playing soccer for the World Cup, he says. He will be playing for Canada, but if that does not work out, then he'd be like to be playing for Wales or for England, as that's where his parents come from. One of his hobbies is metal detecting, and in the future, he plans to go scuba diving with an underwater metal detector in the Caribbean or in Florida. He would also like to get a dog and would call him Mr. Gary Pigeon George, or MGPG for short. He plans to visit the rainforest because there are many creatures to be seen, and lastly, he would like to live in a big house in the country and have a ginormous in-ground pool. He will also keep trying to do his best through tough times. Hannah. Her peers describe her as positive, creative, a dancer, a singer. She's wonderful and responsible. She's a learning buddy. She's friendly, and she is optimistic. In 10 years, 21-year-old Hannah would hopefully be a teacher or just be graduating from university. She would be traveling around the globe, and her favorite place would be Australia. Hannah would have a cockapoo named Milo and a fish named Bubbles. Hannah would hope to be an aunt and have a bunch of little nieces and nephews running around. She would be living by herself and living her best life. Hannah would be the same kind, caring, loving girl that she is today. And she does hope to still hang out with her friends from school and create more memories with friends and family to come. Wyatt. His peers describe him as humorous, kind, helpful. He's a cross-country runner, likes track and field. He's brave, wonderful, a learning buddy, and respectful. Benjamin M. He is described as athletic, independent. Soccer comes to mind. He's wonderful, he's a learning buddy, and he's a leader. In 10 years, Ben will be working in his career of choice as an electrician. He will be happy and hopes to have a family someday, including 2 pets, a dog, and a cat. He will still be playing pickup hockey with his friends. In his free time, he'll be spending time with his family and exercising, and he will continue to be someone who is determined to follow his goals no matter what they are and encourage others to do the same. He will also be keeping in touch with friends by playing video games whenever he can. Izzy. Brave, optimistic, accepting, wonderful, loves basketball, a learning buddy extraordinaire, dependable, sensitive, and respectful. In 10 years, Izzy hopes to continue to be a loyal and positive person. She plans to stay in touch with her friends from King George. She's not yet sure what she wants to be, but says you'll probably find her in college or in university in 10 years' time. Finn. Intelligent, independent, a learning buddy, a leader, wonderful. In 10 years, Finn will have just finished his BA in archaeology and would have applied to do a master's degree in archaeology. He hopes that he will be able to have published his comic, Penguino Armino. Many thanks to Will Eamon and his original Penguino Arresto. He also hopes that he will have a scholarship as a graduate student and become a teaching assistant. He plans to live on the campus and to get ready for having a house of his own, and he also hopes to have a car so he can get around to places a little bit easier. Ella. She's described as kind, respectful, integrity, a sprinter, track and field, social justice, wonderful, basketball, learning buddy, dependable, leader, serious, and respectful. In 10 years, Ella plans to be in university, studying to be a doctor or a nurse. Traveling would be amazing, such as visiting Paris or planning other future trips. Ella wants to save her money so that one day she will have her dream house and dream car. She plans to continue to treat others with kindness throughout the rest of her time at school and to be a good role model for younger students always. Finally, she will follow her dreams, and she wants to encourage others to always do the same. Madeline, described as kind, humble. She's a leader, she's wise, she's wonderful, responsible, a learning buddy, and a thinker. In 10 years, Madeline hopes to be graduating medical school and pursuing life as a doctor, as well as having a family of her own. She would like to adopt a cat from a local animal shelter and name her Marbles. She hopes to be able to travel the world to visit new places and learn about other cultures, as well as take her own kids to Disney World. She aspires to be a kind, caring person who helps anyone in need. Lastly, Madeline wants to try and stay connected to friends from school and work and be a good friend even as an adult. Alexis, described as enthusiastic, fun-loving, artistic, a distance runner, conscientious lunch helper, wonderful, brave, persistent, and warm. In 10 years, Alexis will be a music artist and a game developer with a side hobby of a cosplayer because they bring the world together. Her inspirations are Scott Cawthorn and Charlie Green, and Mythicality cosplay, and lastly, Anne Demi Metronic. She wants to be able to express herself in many ways and wants to be a kind and caring person. Finally, she would like to have 2 dogs. One would be a sheepdog and the other one a black retriever. Sarah, her peers describe her as creative, kind, she's a writer, a great learning buddy, and wonderful. Rachel, sporty, strong, determined, responsible, track and field, cross country, wonderful, basketball, learning buddy, dependable leader, and nurturing. In 10 years, Rachel can see herself just finishing school with plans to open up her own business. She hopes that she can do a lot of volunteering at old age homes and homeless shelters. She plans to have a border collie and a white Jeep. She hopes to stay in touch with all of her friends and her family and to travel around the world. Rachel would like a small house in the country, and she wants all of her classmates to find success in the future. Samav, calm, determined, wonderful, careful, a leader, persistent, kind, and respectful. In 10 years, Samav wants to become a therapist and help other kids and teens out. Since she really likes helping her friends with their problems, she wants to keep helping others throughout the years. When she was a kid, she was always stressed and had some anxiety, but right now, she's calm and she wants to help. She would also like to be a volleyball player because she's always loved that sport since she was little. And finally, she plans to always be a person who is helpful and hardworking. Amelia, she's described as sporty, athletic, independent, kind, a track and field competitor, wonderful. She's dependable and she's a leader. She's courageous. In 10 years, Amelia hopes to be in school at Queen's University for occupational therapy. She'll be living in a small apartment or a shared house, and she'll be able to pay for all the things she needs. She will work as a gymnastics coach at a local club. She will mostly be focused on school, but she will still have plenty of attention for her rescue dog named Roxy. She will live a healthy lifestyle by eating good foods and getting lots of exercise. She wants to have a positive mindset and will be optimistic and always persevere. Dayton. He's described as humorous, a great dancer, selfless, wonderful, a learning buddy, and always friendly. Christy. You are helpful, musical, respectful. You're artistic, you're responsible, track and field, basketball, wonderful, dependable, a leader, a learning buddy, and quiet. In 10 years, Christy will be 22 and likely in university, wanting to take law, photography, and theater. In her life, she wants adventure, and her career choices are all good for that. Taking pictures has always been a part of her life, and she would really love it if one day her pictures would be published professionally, as well as taking on some adventures. Being a lawyer would be hard, but then she would have the money to pay taxes and bills and much, much more. Life is a big adventure full of a lot of amazing opportunities. So when she's 22, she says she hopes to be able to start the beginning of many of those adventures that she wants to have. Zoe, you are described as honest, unique, generous, wonderful, track and field, basketball, and a learning buddy. Chantel, you're friendly, caring, you share, you're supportive, you're a learning buddy, you're wonderful, you're loving, sweet, resilient, sensitive, and thoughtful. In 10 years, Chantel hopes to be graduating from Teachers College. She would like to start off as being a big sister with the Big Sisters Club and working her way up to becoming an amazing teacher. In 10 years, she also hopes she can help kids if they're having trouble at home or if they need somebody to talk to. She will be kind, helpful, and caring to everyone around her, including animals or just anyone who needs it. She will also have 2 pets, a dog named Charlie and a cat named Claus. She always wants to continue to talk with her amazing friends from King George. Andre, described as honest, funny. He's a risk taker, he's a learning buddy. He's wonderful, he's friendly and kind-hearted. And Kylie, you are helpful and energetic, wonderful, joyful, a learning buddy, a leader, a friend, and a soccer star. In 10 years, Kylie wants to be studying in the medical field and see herself saving lives. If she can't be part of the medical field, her second choice would be to be a criminal lawyer. She hopes to have a healthy family with her husband, 2 kids, and a dog. She wants to continue being a kind, hardworking, independent person and follow whatever life takes her. She wants to hopefully continue playing soccer and have both of her kids playing soccer as well. She plans to build a big, beautiful house in the middle of nowhere and also hopes to be riding around in a white Range Rover. You are all such a special cohort of students. Thank you for sharing your in 10 years with us. We've enjoyed listening to your words. You are the first class to graduate from our Lakefield location of King George, and you will also be the first students to graduate from the new East City Public School. You will have the benefit of not only knowing all the folks from King George, but next year you will develop new relationships with students and staff who will also be part of East City Public School. So you will be at a true advantage over everyone else, as you will know all members of the new school, and you will also be experts at transitions before you even enter high school. As many of you know, I am very fortunate to have a wonderful principal down the road in East City at Armour Heights, Ms. Makumo Parsons. She and I work in a very close partnership, and we will continue to do so in the coming year. Ms. Mack, as she is known to our students, has already taken time in early March and again last week to share an early welcome with her new grade 7 students. Awesome Armour is going to be even more awesome with all of you joining their intermediate division in September. Congratulations again to all of you, and thanks for contributing your amazing character to our school, not only this year, but throughout your journey at King George Public School. This almost ends the first portion of our grade 6 leaving ceremony, but I do want to extend a huge thanks to school council and to all of our parents who have done their part to support our students, and of course to our staff, Ms. Anderson, Madame Hall, Ms. Challoner, Ms. McPhee, Ms. Lee, Ms. Lutz, and Mr. Garbett for all of their help and organization with tomorrow's drive-by celebration and victory walk just for you. To our grade 6 students, as you leave King George Public School, you have much to be proud of. Go forward in your education and your life, trying new things which will help you make many memories. Please remember to reflect on your mistakes, demonstrate a growth mindset, ask for and accept feedback, be involved, embrace all learning by demonstrating and persevering and showing your effort to be the best version of you. Please remember our hashtag of Kind King George by always treating each other kindly and listening to the opinion and thinking of your peers. Show your educators, support staff, and administration how respectful and courteous you are. Continue to support one another in your new school while also recognizing the value of building new and important relationships. Seek out help for yourself and others when it is needed, as this is a sign of taking initiative and responding positively to problem solving. Be responsible, contributing citizens at school and beyond, and always interact with others in a way that allows you to have very few regrets and that will always make your families proud. Next, we invite you to view the very special presentation that Ms. Anderson has worked hard to create as a way of highlighting some of your recent memories of grade 6. And we are also delighted to invite you to then listen to the wise words of this year's grade 6 memory speakers, Ella Tate and Madeline Taverge. We will look forward to seeing you tomorrow at your scheduled time. Bring your smiles and maybe an umbrella, and be prepared to just enjoy the moment of letting us recognize each and every one of you. Take care, be well, and always be kind.